just don't stop. Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Tryna make $1, flip it like it's vinyl. Tryna make a way. What's it worth to you if the price too high? Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Give me your best. I won't take nothing less, cause I'm giving you 100. How you always leaving me with nothing? I'm not impressed. It's gonna take more than this, cause I'm giving you 100. And I don't even know if I can trust you for nothing.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday. It's Friday. It is March the 17th. That means it is St. Patty's Day. So happy St. Patty's Day to everyone. I hope everybody is looking forward to a wonderful day. Good morning, Vanessa. Congratulations on being first through the door. Good morning, Casey. Good morning, Anne-Marie. Yes, it is 6:47 in the a.m. on March the 17th, 2023. So good morning, everybody. And yes, I did repay myself for completing 75 hard with a little extra sleep this morning. So I've got some other plans on Friday. So hopefully I can make those plans work and make that happen. And because what I don't want to do is I don't want to regress. I want to go keep going forward. So good morning. Glad you guys are here. Thanks for all the birthday wishes yesterday. It was super cool that I got to finish. Michelle and I both finished our 75 hard. I hope she gets here because I want to make sure that I congratulate her. Boy, you both got to finish 75 hard yesterday for the first time, and it happened to be on my birthday, which made it super cool that we both got to finish that on my birthday. Just good morning, Miss Lynn. How are you this morning? Hope you all are looking forward to a great St. Patty's Day. I did have a good birthday yesterday, Casey. It was really, really cool. A couple of things. So y'all know, I showed that video. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Thank you. It was super cool. I gotta try to fix that camera because it's off. It's messing with my OCD. Y'all, just give me a second. Sorry, it's not level. This is probably not YouTube channel approved. Here we go. So we'll just make it that way. It's close enough. Sorry about that. But no, it was a great day yesterday. So two things. I got to finish 75 hard yesterday, and also I got my test results back from my genetic testing from 10X Health. If you guys remember, when Christy went to the original mastermind, she heard, no, I have not had pizza yet. That was fun. We talked about that yesterday. So yesterday morning, I got to get everything done except my extra workout and my pictures. So I went out and ran first thing in the morning. I got all my water consumed. I had read. I'd done everything I needed to do that morning. And we were sitting here before Carson went to school, and I was talking about eating pizza today. And he goes, well, are you going to go someplace in Hartwell and get pizza? And I was like, you know what? You got a point. But at this point, right now, Papa John's sounds delicious. But you know what, Casey? I'm gonna be honest with you. What's funny is how much you change. How much I feel like I have changed, just from a mental standpoint. Because like 3 weeks ago, all I could think about was, oh my gosh, on St. Patrick's Day, I'm gonna get to drink beer and have pizza. And when I was leaving the gym last night, one of the things Michelle said in the 75 hard chat group was, I feel like I'm gonna have somebody, this Andy Priscilla yelling at me tomorrow morning, telling me to get the heck up get the heck up and don't be lazy. And I don't, Kristen, to your point, I don't want it as much now as I did. It's amazing how much has changed over the last 3 weeks because we were sitting there talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I might have a piece of pizza and maybe drink a beer, but it's not going to be what I thought it was 3 weeks ago. It's not going to be what it was when I first started this thing, because when I first started this thing and I was talking to all the hockey parents, they were like, man, you're going to get, we had these little gifts and memes floating around laughing that me and Michelle would both be, falling down drunk on St. Patrick's Day because we haven't had anything to drink since Christmas. And now I'm just like, yeah, if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't, because there's so many more things that are important. And we've come so far to where we are now. It's like, I don't want to give it up. I don't want to stop. I don't want to go backwards. So yeah, I'm just like, yeah, but I still do want a piece of pizza. I just don't know where I'm going to get it. I don't know if I want. I don't know if I want where I want to get it from. So I'm ready to Greensboro later. I think maybe we have to at some point today. Um, So maybe I'll get something down there. But let's get going. Good morning, y'all. My name's Aaron Dwyer. My wife, Christy Dwyer, and I started a company called Exit Realty Lake Country. And we had an idea that every single morning we'd get up and stay connected with our agents. And so that's what we're doing here. And so every morning at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, we spend some time with our agents, spend 30, 45 minutes, an hour with them, just trying to share some love, some laughs, maybe a little motivation, trying to get them off to a good start, remind them that they're in the real estate business, but get their days off to a good start with a great morning, because we know if we have a good morning, then our chances of having a great day go up exponentially. And if we can string enough great days together, man, we can make a great life. And that's what we try to do every single day. So that's where we are. So if you're here with us this morning, you know the drill. You're up. You're up and ready to roll. You give us a good morning. Let us know that you're in the building. And if you're watching this later on YouTube or one of the other Facebook channels, then we're glad you're watching. Hope you get something from this. But right now, we're on day 25. So we're on our 26. We're on day 26, I think. No, 20, yeah, 26. We're on day 26 of the 32 things successful people do that unsuccessful people don't do, from Grant Cardone's book, The 10X Rule. Again, y'all, if you've not read The 10X Rule, I want you to put that on your list of books to read. I want you to put that on your list of books to finish this year. I believe it's going to really be impactful to you. It's been impactful to me. I know the 10X and Grant Cardone and what he offered was impactful to Christy. It was impactful to Aaron. It was impactful to the people who listen to him. It's impactful to people who go to 10X. It's impactful. So he's got some great information, y'all. He's got a good story, and the 10X Rule is a book it's worth reading for sure. And so number 26. Number 26. This is number 26. It's really, really good. Number 26 is commit first. Figure it out later. Commit first, figure it out later. Go and then figure out what you're doing. Make the decision to go, because what's amazing is sometimes all God needs for us to do is just go. Sometimes all God needs us to do is just take the movement, make the movement, take the motion, take a step, go in the direction. Because sometimes it feels like to me that God, the universe, it gives you this dream and this desire. It puts these sparks of your birthright in your spirit, and he gives you these things to look at, these things to go after, these things you ought to do. And then he just kind of sits and waits for us to go do it. And if you don't go do it, if you don't go take the steps, if you don't go make the movement, if you don't go in motion and do the thing, the results just kind of sit there and wait. But we as humans, what we try to do, good morning, Coop, bless you. What we try to do is, as humans, is we try to make sure everything's perfect up front. We want all the money to be at the bank. We want all the clothes to be in the closet. We want all the plans to be perfect. We want everything to rock and roll and be exactly right. And y'all, I'm absolutely 100% guilty of this, that if everything doesn't stack up perfectly, that I will procrastinate. That I will procrastinate in the direction of perfection, when really just a procrastination is masking my fears. Because what happens when you commit without the entire plan, when you commit without everything being perfect, when you just go do it, you overcome fear. And that's the bigger part of commit first, figure it out later, is that you overcome your own fear. You overcome your own limitations. You overcome the thing that's holding you back, which most of the times is us. And so when we commit, when we decide to go, when we decide to go take those steps, when we start walking in the direction of our dreams, that commitment, even that little bit of step, that little bit of go, that little bit of in the direction of, is sometimes enough to unlock the next thing in your journey. It's sometimes enough to unlock the next step. It's sometimes enough to unlock the next connection, the next person, the next relationship, the next circle, when I talk about me and Christy and how we met, it's sometimes that next circle that comes along. It took me leaving the independent real estate company that I was at to come to Exit, to start my progress and to start my journey with Exit, to end up buying an Exit franchise or more, to end up going to broker owner training in Toronto, Canada, to end up meeting Christy. So it took me making a decision as I sat and procrastinated for months and months and months and months because I wasn't sure about Exit. I wasn't sure about making the move. I wasn't sure if I should be doing this, y'all. And I labored and labored and labored and labored. I had people come say, I would go and ask them, hey, should I go do this? Hey, should I go do this? Hey, should I go do that? Hey, should I make this move? And I waited for everything to be perfect. And I went back over and over and over again. I said, well, you need to do this. And I need to see this. And I need to make sure this happens. I laid the fleece out and waited for the fleece to get wet. I laid the fleece out and wanted the porch to be dry and the fleece to be wet. I wanted to lay the fleece out and wanted the fleece to be wet and the porch to be dry. I did all these things and tried to get all these different confirmations. And at the end of the day, all I had to do was just go take a step. So commit first, figure it out later. This entire book about blue fishing, this guy Steve Sims, that's what he preaches in his book. And Blue Fishing is a company that he created, and what he does is he creates these $1 million experiences, these multi-million-dollar experiences for people. So people with tons of money but very little fulfillment in their life call Steve Sims and say, hey, Steve Sims, I want to do this. Or hey, Steve Sims, I want to meet this person. Steve Sims, I want to play golf at Augusta National. Steve Sims, I want to play lead guitar with Journey. I want to meet the band. I want to meet the Rolling Stones. And Steve Sims puts those things together. But this dude tells a story about growing up on the east side of London and poverty and being poor and being a bricklayer and not having anything and just making this decision one day to go get a job, and then making a decision after he got that job to move to Hong Kong. And when he moved to Hong Kong to do this job or this career that he had taken on, he got fired like the day after he got to Hong Kong. And he said, I was in Hong Kong with no money. I was in Hong Kong with nothing. And I couldn't go back because I already made the decision. I'd already burned the bridges, had done the thing. And he said, I figured out what to do. So I went and did this thing. And he talks about, I went and stood as I was a bouncer at a bar. And then as the bouncer in the bar, I started increasing the events. And as I started increasing the events, I found out I had a niche for getting more people to come to the bar. And as I found out that I had a niche for getting more people to come to the bar, and I was able to create these events, I found out that I was very engaging and very entertaining, and people liked coming doing the events. And so then I did this and I did this, and all of a sudden this thing evolved into this entire company where now he lives in California and lives up in the Hollywood Hills, and he's got a multi-million-dollar company that he's created from having nothing, from getting fired from a job, from sitting there not figuring and trying to have to figure out what he's going to do. But he just went and commit. So his entire company, this blue fishing company, and the blue fishing is about marlins, about chasing big dreams, chasing big whales, hooking big fish, bringing big trophies into the boat. That's what the whole concept of blue fishing is. And it's just his is the art of making things happen. And one of his principles is just go do it. Make the decision to do it and just go do it. Successful people just go do it. There's so many things that are lost in the art of doing. Les Brown says the most valuable plot of earth, the most valuable plot of land on earth, in any country, in any city, in any state, in any nation, are graveyards. He said there's more dreams in graveyards than there are in birthing wards. Because so many people die with their dreams in their pockets. So many people die with their dreams written in a journal. So many people die with their dreams in their hearts because they never take the motion, they never take the action, they never make the move, they never take the step to go do it. I'm gonna tell you that the journey that I've been on the last 75 days has revealed this to me so much. And I'm gonna make a post today to kind of wrap up. Good morning, Mags. To kind of wrap up the the last 75 days. And I looked at this last night, and I mentioned this in the call. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I talk about the saying that I use is the journey to 1,000 miles. It's not my saying. It was thought thought up by someone much smarter than me, and I think it's probably from some kind of Eastern culture, Oriental culture. I think is probably where it's from. But it says the journey to 1,000 miles begins with one step, and the whole premise behind that is you can't go 1,000 miles if you don't go one step. You can't get to the journey. You can't get to the destination if you don't go in that direction. And so as I'm wrapping up 75 hard, and I go back and look at the last 75 days, I've run, walked, been outside for an average of 3.5 miles, probably closer to 3.75 miles. I'm gonna use 3.5 just to be conservative. And 3.5 miles times 75 days is 262 miles. Raise your hand if you know how far it is from Nashville to Atlanta. And I just Googled this last night on the way back from the gym because I was trying to get a point of reference. It's 247 miles from Nashville to Atlanta. So in the past 75 days, I started with one 45-minute walk with however many steps that is. And then the second day, another 45-minute walk. And I strung 75 of those together to then go from walk to walk, run, to walk, run, to walk, run, to run, walk, to now run in the past 75 days. Now I've evolved from not being able to run 5 minutes at a time to now being able to run 45 minutes at a time. I have taken a step and evolved from dying. I remember when Christy, we first started this thing, and I told y'all that I got the two fitness fairies tried to kill me in the living room of our house, and we were in here doing this 45-minute workout in the house, and these two fitness fairies. I'm over here on the side of the house, and Christy kept asking me, "Are you going to die? You're not. Don't have a heart attack on me and die, y'all." I'm telling you, it was about to kill me. These two, and y'all remember that I talked about the fit. Michelle T, I'm glad you did the same thing too, girl. I repaid myself with some extra sleep this morning. I sure did. Good morning. Y'all, I want everybody to clap. I want air clap. Lift up Michelle Tilson. I am so proud of you, girl. I'm telling you, if I were there, I would give you the biggest hug because I'm crazy proud of you. To see the person you are right now on March the 17th, 2023, versus the person that we met. If I go back to my notes and I could see the day that we actually met and talked for the first time, and we talked about your first goals for the first time. And we talked about your goals and what you wanted for the first time, and you said, "Hey, I just want to do this." And I'm like, "Man, we got that." And now to see who you are now, Winston. Good morning, y'all. To see who you are now and who you become, and this badass you are right now. I am eternally grateful for you being in our lives and for you being a part of who we are, being a part of us. So thank you, Michelle Tilson. We love you. We freaking did it. Winnie G's a 75 hard alumni. Winnie G, you did it last year, didn't you? Didn't you do 75 hard last year? Winnie G's here, y'all. And I'm gonna apologize to Winnie G out in public because he did something yesterday that was super, super cool and got to speak and present at Athens and Winning for the Kids. And if y'all don't know Winning for the Kids, Winnie G completed 75 hard in 2021, probably with his group, with John Daniel, his brother, and some other, some of his friends that he's done this with. But y'all, I want to encourage you to write on your calendars even today, because Winston is a story of going in the direction and committing to something and letting the pieces fall into place. When he did Winning for the Kids for the first time in 2021, Winston, when he did Winning for the Kids for the first time, he just went and did it. He went and put it together. He was trying to make it perfect and do this and do that. And he had experience in being around golf, being around tournaments and things like that. And he wanted it to be perfect, but it wasn't perfect. It wasn't he didn't have everything done exactly the way that he wanted to have it done, but he did it. And it ended up being absolutely fantastic. And then last year, it's grown. 2023 is going to be even bigger than it was in 2021. So I want y'all to write on your calendars. And Winston, it's April 23rd and 24th or 22nd, 23rd. I want you to put on your calendars Winning for the Kids. And Winning for the Kids is an organization that Winston started that I'm super proud of because he brought us in to help be one of the sponsors of this thing. And I don't know how much Winston remembers this. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But Winning for the Kids is something after my own heart because it means a great deal to me, and I'll tell that story later. But I don't even know how many people know that story. Yeah, my wedding ring's in my pocket still. I put it back on, or my wife gets mad at me. But Winning for the Kids is an organization that Winston started. And he just started walking in that direction. He just started going. I'm telling y'all right now, there is power in momentum. There is power in progress. There is power in motion. The power is not in the perfection. The power is in the progress. The power is in doing the thing every day. The reason 75 Hard is so powerful, the reason that program's so hard is because you got to commit. You got to do it when you don't feel like doing it. You got to walk when you don't feel like walking. You got to work out when you don't feel like working out. You got to push away the ice cream when you want to have ice cream. You got to say no to the beer when you want to have a beer. Because I promise y'all, if there was ever a time in my life that I needed to drink, it was January through freaking January. The entire month of January, man, I'm telling you what, I could have absolutely drank January away. Because starting in probably November or December, when all this stuff started happening and that the negative momentum started, I promise y'all, if there was ever a time in my life where I needed to drink, it was January. So that's the whole point of 75 Hard is you don't do the things you're not supposed to do, and you do the things you are supposed to do, and you're not perfect, and it does suck, and you don't want to get up in the morning, and you don't want to do the second workout, and you certainly don't want to go outside and do it when it's 20 degrees outside, or when it's snowing, or when you get off an airplane, or when you're in another time zone, or when you're super tired. You don't want to do it. But that's the whole point, is the power's in the doing. The power is in the momentum. The power is in the movement. The power is in taking the step. And y'all, in the past 75 days, I've taken enough steps to get me to Atlanta. A little farther, I'd probably go to Sandy Springs. I'm probably on 285. Sir, I'm busy. I'm talking. Will you go there and sit down? Go sit down. Stop. Stop it. Cooper's pawing at me this morning. The power is in the progress. Successful people commit and then they figure it out later. They just go do it and then they let all the pieces come into play. I could give you so many examples of this, but the recent examples are this. Christy and I, the day that she went to Alpharetta with Anna, to go hear Ed Milet, to go hear John Maxwell. Sorry, y'all. That weekend, I was in Omaha, Nebraska with Jagger. We weren't really talking. I'm being very clear with you. Because my default mode when I get mad, when I get upset in a relationship, my default mode is wall off. I was a police officer for 13 years. When things bother me and my emotions get out of whack, I shut it down. I don't cry. I don't get up. I get upset every now and again, but I just shut it down. I completely get stone cold and wall off. And so in my relationship and with my wife and being a husband, this is one of my negatives is that when I get really upset and I get done, and I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to answer you. I'm not going to text you. I'm just going to go dark. And that's what I did. And I just went dark and I just wasn't calling. I wasn't texting. I was in Tennessee. She was in Georgia. It's a good spot for me to be because I don't feel like talking to you. And that's what I'm just being real honest with y'all. And so when Christy saw this thing come up, she says, well, this is fine. I'll go do this because I got nothing else to do. Aaron's not here. We're not talking. And I'm paraphrasing her mindset. So I'm just going to go. I'm going to do my thing. So she went through a couple of people, ended up with Anna. Anna was a perfect person that needed to go because Anna ended up being a mouthpiece for another a corroborator, a collaborator, somebody who's come in to help talk about this thing and give us sort of a detached third party account of what's happened and how all this went down. And so Anna comes, but Christy made the step. She made the phone calls. It took John Doe. It took John Ross. I think it's Ross is his last name. It took him calling Christy after she filled out an online form. Y'all, listen to how this worked. Christy filled out an online form. This online form goes into a funnel. This funnel goes to John. John then calls because John works for sales for Grow Stack Drive. So John goes into sales. Is this thing freezing? I'm looking at the monitor and it looks like it's freezing. I don't know why it's so bad. Y'all, I gotta get some stuff. So John calls Christy back as a result of this funnel. Christy's doing what Christy does. How many of you have ever called Christy and she's chasing dogs? How many of you have ever called Christy and she is completely frazzled, or not frazzled, but she's got 17 other things going on? She tells you to hang on a second, give me a second. Hey, I'll be right back. Hey, hang on. She did that to John. John calls. She's yelling at dogs out in the front yard because when she takes the dogs outside, they run off. So she's yelling at dogs. She tells John, call me back, call me back. John says, okay, and he hangs up the phone. So here's the part of the story where I want to tell you something, because this is something that's applicable to you as you do your daily business, as you do the thing that you do. The power, the fortune for us is in the follow-up. The fortune for us in sales is in the follow-up. And I've told John this, and I've hugged his neck and told him how much I appreciated it and how much I love him for following up. Because Christy told him, I got to let you go because of that. Just because of that. Because these dogs are sometimes they're not very smart. And they don't put their things together, and they don't understand that we got things that are going on. They don't understand the fact that they can't go run off when we have things going on. They don't understand it's impolite to bark while I'm on a call in the morning. And so, but John followed up. How many of you don't follow up? When somebody tells you, call me back later, call me back in 15 minutes, call me back in 20 minutes, call me back in 3 months, call me back, and I'm going to be looking to buy and sell in the next 6 months. And I go through Boomtown, I look and I look and I look. And there's people that on their original thing when they came into Boomtown, their original deal was, when are you looking to buy a house? 3 to 6 months. And it's been 4 months since you've reached out to them. It's been 6 months since you've reached out to them. And then I call them and I say, hey, you guys still looking for a house? And the dreaded answer is, no, we found something. Oh, we've already closed. Oh, who'd you use? Oh, we use so-and-so. And it's not one of us. Commit first, figure it out later. Follow up. If Christy had not committed to the phone call, John wouldn't have called her back. If John had not committed to following up, Christy wouldn't have gone to the event. If Anna had not committed to going with Christy and Christy ended up going by herself, it wouldn't have had the impact. If with me being in Nebraska, when Christy calls me and says, man, this has been awesome, then this is how this started. I wasn't calling Christy. I wasn't texting Christy. She texted me and said, you should be here. I wish you were here. And that text message was enough for me to say, I probably ought to put down my guard. I probably ought to let this thing come down. And I probably ought to reach out. I probably should respond to this text. And I did. And my response was enough to make her feel something. My point is, y'all, there's so many indications in life. There's so many things in life. There's so many things in stories. And if you go back and look, that all it took was one person taking action. All it took was a step in the right direction. Sometimes all it takes is for you to get off the couch, for you to pick up the phone and dial the number. Not just pick up your phone, but dial the 10 numbers. And not just dial the 10 numbers, but actually push the green button that actually uses those 10 numbers to call the person on the other line. And then you actually call the person and you actually try to talk to the person. And then if they don't answer, you call them back. If they even answer and have a conversation and the conversation doesn't go like you think it ought to go, then you call them back again. You send them an email. You send them a video text. You say, hey, good morning. I'm telling you, I got 4 or 5 video texts yesterday, and they're my favorite ones. My favorite text messages, my favorite happy birthday messages outside of my wife and my kids are those people who know me, who like me, who love me enough to get on a video text message and show me their face with a big old smile and say, "Hey, man, thinking about you. Happy birthday." Those are my favorite. They always make me smile. Commit first, figure it out later. Take the step in the direction and then figure it out later. Because here's what happens when I started not being able to breathe, when I started walking and I thought I was gonna, when I started running and I thought I was gonna die, it didn't take too long for my body to create a new narrative. And it didn't take long for my mentality to create a new narrative and let me know you're not gonna die. You got this. You're not gonna die, I promise. And then your muscles get stronger, your muscles respond, your energy responds, your body begins to respond to the extra stress. Your body begins to respond to the extra strain that you're putting on it. Your muscles get stronger. Then all of a sudden you go out and run one day and you run, you go, wow, that felt really good. And not that running ever feels good, but I didn't think at all I was going to die. I'm actually got a smile on my face. That was actually pretty cool. Or you go to the gym and the on the second workout day, you go to the gym and you pick up the weights that you've been comfortable using and you do those and you, instead of doing 8 reps, you do 15. You're like, maybe I should go up in weight. And all of a sudden you pick up a heavier weight and you're stronger. See, this is what nature does. This is what God does. And God shows us and gives us these clues through nature. He shows us and gives us these clues from what He does every single day out in the world. Every single day that you're experiencing life, every single day that you get up and breathe, God shows you this every single day. God always responds to the effort we give. That's the natural way of things. If you don't do anything, God responds accordingly. The universe responds accordingly. Nature responds accordingly. If you don't do anything, it responds accordingly and it gives you exactly what you're supposed to get when you don't do anything. If your diet sucks, so will your health. If you don't call people on the telephone, you're not going to have money in the bank. If you don't practice being a good realtor, if you don't role play, then you're always going to be scared on the phone when you call somebody. If you don't have a system of reaching out to new clients, at some point you're going to have none. If you don't make it a point to do things that you're not doing right now, you're never going to have what you've never had. And so in that video that I showed yesterday in the meeting, what happens is we start looking for off ramps. If it's not working the way we think it ought to work, we start looking for off ramps. If it's not working, we're looking for places to quit. If it's not working, we start looking for other places to make it work. And what happens a lot of times, especially in this business, and it just happened, and it breaks my heart, that sometimes when it's not working the way we think it ought to work, when it's not going the way we think it ought to go, we have all these outside influences that are telling us it's not going like you thought it was going to go. It's not happening the way you thought it ought to happen. It's not doing the way you think it ought to do. And so what we do is we look for off ramps. And sometimes we're not looking for off ramps. Sometimes it's the people in our lives that we trust that say, hey, look, here's an off ramp over here. Why don't you change companies? Hey, here's an off ramp over here. Why don't you change directions? Hey, here's an off ramp over here. Why don't you do this? And then in your heart, you're like, I don't think that's right for me. I think where the direction I'm going is right for me. I think where I'm going, I'm this close. You're 3 feet from gold, and you quit, and you sell your stuff to someone else. You sell all your gold mining equipment to someone else. Someone else, this other person buys your gold equipment for pennies on the dollar. He comes back to the same place you were digging. He looks at it, evaluates it. She looks at it, she evaluates it, looks at it a little differently, changes the perspective a little bit. And instead of digging in this direction, starts digging in this direction. And come to find out where the other person stopped, they were 3 feet from gold. They were 36 inches from the largest gold vein ever discovered in the American West. How many times do we give up too early? How many times do we wait for everything to be perfect before we take a step? How many times Do we wait for everything to line up exactly like we think it's supposed to line up before we take a step? Instead of just taking a step, instead of just jumping in the pool, instead of just going out and doing the thing. Y'all, I'm gonna put a picture. I showed my before and after picture because the only person that's really seen me before and after is Christy. And but it's like when you see a baby, she didn't. I don't know if she really appreciated it because she sees me like most times every single day. So I'm not sure. Now when I see other people, you guys see me and you're, oh my gosh, I can see in your face you lost so much weight. But I shared this picture in the 75 hard group yesterday of my day one because part of 75 hard is you have to take a progress picture every single day. One of the things that you have to do. So I've taken 75 pictures. I've seen from day one to day 75. I've seen this progress, and I can see the weight on the scale, but I really haven't seen the comparison. I kind of looked a little bit, but yesterday I put the day one picture and the day 75 picture side by side, and I'm going to put that on some social media today with a little post about it. And the difference, y'all, is crazy. It's absolutely insane. And it's not a testament to me. It's not a testament to Aaron. It really is a testament to the power of taking one step. The power of doing it when it's not perfect, the power of doing it when you really don't want to do it, the power of doing it when the conditions are right. Y'all understand, he could have done 75 hard instead of 2 workouts, 45 minutes long, and it still would have been tough for most people. For 75 days, you got to get 2 workouts in, 45 minutes long. That still would have been a tough commitment. But there's a reason why he says one of the workouts has to be outside. Because he wants outside to suck. He wants outside to be awful. He wants outside to be super cold. He wants outside to be rainy. He wants outside to be snowing. He wants outside to be super, super hot. He wants it to be miserable outside so that you go confront your misery and do it anyway. And I'm just gonna tell you personal stories, I'm not gonna take too much more of y'all's time because I know I was late. But one of my personal stories, and I think only the 75 hard people know about this, is one of the first weeks. I mean, I was in the first couple 2 3 weeks, and I was in Tennessee, and it poured down rain, and it was like 40 degrees outside. So it was cold, it was rainy, it was wet. But the path that I was walking had flooded in 2 places. And when I say flooded, the water was like on one spot over my ankles, the other spot almost up to my knees. And I said, and Christy got mad at me for doing this, but I went through the puddles. I went straight through the puddles. I didn't go around the puddles. I didn't go find dry spots. I went straight through the middle of them. And it was cold and my feet were wet and my socks were wet. But I said, F it, double bird it. I double birded it. I said, you know what? F it, let's do this thing. And I did 45 minutes to and from, almost 4 miles with wet shoes and wet socks because I had to not only go through the puddles once, but I had to make the loop and go through the puddles again. So just as my shoes, I got used to it, and my shoes started to dry out, my socks started to dry out just a little bit. I had to go back through them again, and it was amazing the mental click for me when I did that. It was like, I got this. 'Cause it's cold. This is freezing. It's awful. Nobody likes wet feet, wet socks. But you don't like wet feet, wet socks, especially when they're cold. But I did it. And something inside me clicked because I took the steps in the direction. I committed, and then I figured it out later. So I think that's what I'm asking you this morning. You got to get to a place where you're going to commit, where you're going to commit to your business. You're going to figure it out later. Life is not a game of perfection. Life is a game of adjustment. Life is not a game of, your marriage is not perfect, but you learn to figure it out. Your real estate business isn't perfect, but if you stay in it, you learn to figure it out. Life is not perfect, but if you stay in it, you learn to figure it out. And that's what the people around you need to see. They need to watch you perfect this thing. They need to watch you do the deal. They need to watch you take the steps. They need to watch you figure this thing out. Because what happens is when you lead from the front, when you lead in the direction of your dream, when you lead in the direction of your desire, because guess what? Your dream and your desire is not my dream and my desire. That belongs to you. Other people don't see your dreams and your desires. All they see is your effort. All they see are your steps. All they see is what you're doing. But when you get to that point where you accomplish that thing, you unlock doors for them. Because Michelle Tilson has completed 75 hard, there are going to be other people in Michelle's life who say, "Oh my God, you did that? Look how much different you look. Look how much better you look. I'm going to go do that." When Winston did 75 hard, there were people in his life that said, "Winston, you did 75 hard. If Winston can do 75 hard, I can do 75 hard." Do you know there are hockey parents that I talk to, just talk to, just conversate. We don't go to dinner. Our families, I mean, other than the hockey connection, we don't go to dinner. Our families aren't friends. We don't go hang out on the weekends. We don't invite them to the boat. We don't vacation together. We don't golf together. Our kids play hockey together. But because I was at hockey events with a big half-gallon jug of water, and I wasn't drinking, and I wasn't eating what they were eating, and I wasn't drinking what they were drinking, and I was working out at 11 o'clock at night where they were hanging out in the lobby drinking and goofing off, and I was working out, and there were people that were seeing that. They would ask, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this and not doing this with us? Why are you doing that and not over here with us?" Do you know, I know of at least 4 hockey parents, 2 of which are not even on my kids' team, that are doing 75 hard now because of that. Don't know if they'll stick with it, don't know if they'll do it. But that's the power of commitment. That's the power of walking in the direction. That's the power of taking the step. You never know who's watching you. You never know who's seeing you do it. You never know who's watching you go do that thing. There are people that are watching you right now that you don't know. There are people that you need to, there are people in your life that need to see you commit over and over and over and over. There are people in your life who need to watch you walk past the off ramps, walk past the exit ramps, walk through the puddles, go through the difficulty. They need to see you accomplish that thing, not from doing big crap, but doing small things over and over and over again. I'll go back to what I said yesterday. You don't build a house with one brick. One brick's not valuable. One brick's just a rock. One brick's just a cubed collection of rock. But one brick stacked beside another brick, stacked beside another brick, rows of bricks on top of rows of bricks, on top of rows of bricks, make a house, make a structure, make a shelter, make something valuable. Commit and then figure it out later. Successful people commit and then they figure it out later. Successful people commit and then figure it out later. So that's what I'm asking you today on March the 17th, 2023. I'm asking you today to walk in your bathroom, look at yourself in the mirror, and commit to yourself with your voice, out loud with your voice. I commit today to be better. I commit today to take a step. And I want you to give yourself permission to not have it all figured out. But you make the decision to commit to it and go do it. Because it's in the commitment, it's in the step that the progress is achieved. It's in the step, it's in the movement that the perfection is achieved. Life's not a game of perfection, y'all. It's a game of adjustment. So today, go do the thing you don't want to go do. Go expose yourself to the pain and the hurt. If it's making a phone call, if it's door knocking, if it's talking to somebody at lunch, if it's calling one of your dirty dozen to go have lunch with, I don't care what it is, but just go do the thing. It's a great day to be a great day. It's a fantastic day to commit to your next step. It's a fantastic day to go do the thing that you've been putting off doing. It's a great day to go be great. And I'm a bigger fan of this saying, and it just came into my head. I don't think I've ever said this out loud, but I think greatness is acquired through achievement, not through accomplishment. That didn't make any sense. Greatness is attained through action versus the end result. Greatness is attained through action rather than achievement. I'll figure that out. I don't know. We'll go back and look at that later. All right. Hey, y'all, be good. Be great. Have a great Friday. It's Friday. Go out and enjoy it. It's supposed to be pouring down rain. Hey, don't forget, big event tomorrow in Lake Oconee. we're gonna have a booth down in Greensboro. We'll have a booth in Greensboro tomorrow. So if you guys get to Greensboro, come see us at the big event. Come wear. We can't wear your exit swag. That doesn't matter because we're giving it all away. Come to the big event in Greensboro tomorrow. We'll be at Lake Oconee. We're gonna have a booth sponsoring the Kids Zone. Alex and Joseph are gonna have goats and bears and lions and tigers in a pen. Joseph Martin's gonna be lion taming and tiger taming. So love you guys. Be good. Be great. Be you. Have a fantastic day. Bye, y'all.